Right. Well, wow, these are lots of fascinating and hard questions. I want to go back to your initial comment about wondering, at least with respect to this issue, it sounded like you were saying you found my arguments kind of persuasive.
Right, yes.
And you might think, well, it's pretty simple. It's not rocket science,
right,
so to speak. I'm not presenting anything really radical and crazy. And your response was, well, why wouldn't people accept this?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's because they're not thoughtful enough.
Right.
And that might be true. I mean, these are complicated issues. To address them thoroughly and carefully takes a bit of time
mm-hmm.
and a bit of patience. And especially these days with Twitter and and everything, people's attention spans are pretty short,
right,
and they don't. I don't know if people's attention spans used to be longer, but people are reluctant, oftentimes, to spend the time and energy to try to really understand an issue.
Right. Yeah.
They just kind of want to make snap judgments about
mm-hmm.
certain things. But I think that that's a regrettable thing.
Right.
Certainly people, when it comes to some things, everybody wants people to be real careful. If you got some medical condition and nobody knows what it is, you don't want your doctor to just spend 10 seconds.
Right.
I don't have time to try to really figure out what the problem with this is. I'll just go with this.
Right.
Feels good.
Yeah.
About certain issues, people want and expect and demand that you're going to be real serious. You're going to take this seriously and figure out the best evidence you can. Consult with experts. Doctor, I don't know if you spend some time after hours, but if you would just hang around, do some homework, try to figure out what my problem is, I would really appreciate it greatly.
Right.
So, about some things, people want people to be real thorough and careful in their thinking.
Yeah.
Because what they do on the basis of that thinking matters a lot.
Right.
It can be a matter of life and death. However, with regards to other issues, people are like, I've got my opinions on this. Have you ever read a book about it? No. You ever read an article about it? No.
Right.
You done any sort of research? No, I really don't know anything about this topic, really. But I'm sure the answer is this.
Yeah. Right.
So many issues in politics are like that.
Right.
Currently, there's this. Well, I can think of two issues. Obviously the financial
mm-hmm.
debacles now.
Right.
And I certainly am not an economist or anything like that, but I'm sure the issues are very complex, and there's lots of people who are certain the solution is this, and others who are certain the solution is that. I don't know how you could be
right.
certain about these things unless you're a super expert.
Right.
So I think, another issue would be, say, climate change
mm-hmm.
type issues.
Mm-hmm.
People who don't know anything about those topics, never even had Earth Science
right.
101,
yeah.
are certain that, this is how the Earth works.
Right.
I know that, but they don't know anything about what they're talking about.
Right.
So, I think about many issues, people are not very thoughtful,
right.
but yet they form opinions about those issues when they shouldn't.
Right.
If somebody asks, what do you think about this? I think oftentimes the answer should be, hey, I just don't really know anything.
Right.
So, I don't know what to think about it.
Right.
So check back with me, and maybe I'll do some homework and try to figure it out.
Okay.
But a second thing related to this is that I think certain topics people aren't very thoughtful about because certain topics are personally challenging. And maybe if I thought about these topics, I might have to change.
Yeah.
Or even I might even feel some cognitive dissonance.
Right.
Maybe if I thought about this topic, I might regret some of the things that I've done.
Right.
And I might come to think, I did something wrong.
Yeah.
And, maybe you even think, I was a bad person. And people don't like to feel negative things,
Right.
especially about themselves.
Right.
I mean, it's easy to criticize other people, but
Yeah.
I need to change. I need to rethink some things that I think or do. That's hard.
Right.
People don't react well to criticism.
Right. Yeah.
That's an understatement.
Yeah.
So I think one of the interesting things about philosophy, my field, when it's done at its best, it's done from a attitude that says, hey, I've been mistaken about a lot of things.
Right.
And not just me, I mean everybody has. You look at
Right.
history, look at the things that people have thought and done not even that long ago, and we think, oh man, how could people have thought that? How could they have done that?
Right.
And look at the excuses that they gave.
Yeah. Right.
It's pathetic. But if you, at the time, they thought, yeah, I'm right about this, I'm certain.
Right.
Well, so looking back at the past, even your own past, you think, I've been mistaken about a lot of things,
Mm-hmm.
and given that, I might be mistaken now.
Yeah.
So my attitude should be that, maybe I've got something to learn
Right.
here. Again, I'm not an expert on much,
Yeah.
and maybe you've learned something about this topic that I can learn from.
Right.
And so the attitude shouldn't be, I'm right about everything, so you
Right.
must be wrong about
Right.
everything.
Right.
Well, maybe I'm right about a few things, but maybe you're right about a few things too.
Yeah.
And you can share some of these things with me, and, I'll learn from you.
Right.
Maybe we'll both learn that we both got to do a little more homework, and we'll go off and find somebody else who can show us,
Right.
I can understand how you thought that way.
Yeah.
And I can understand how you thought that way. But there's this other information that if you both see this, you'll see that
Right.
your view should change.
Open attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, going back to the questions about torture and different views about morality around the world, I think responding to the second one is easier first, in part because it relates to the attitude of humility and openness that I just expressed as a valuable attitude for everybody. That attitude, again, kind of makes sense only if people can be mistaken about things, in error in what they think
Right.
and what they do. I do this, but I shouldn't do it. And I think, and many people have argued, that doesn't, the attitude that you could be mistaken doesn't really make a whole lot of sense unless there are moral standards that are universal, objective, apply everywhere,
Okay.
and so on and so forth.
Okay.
So,
And
Yeah.
you're saying, well, let me insert something here before you go on with
Okay.
this. Are you saying then, or suggesting, I see two avenues that can fall under, that there are objective, universal, absolute standards, and they are, trying to use the right word, but let's say they are secular, but they are still absolute standard. And then others would say there are absolute standards, and they are formulated through religion by way of a god or a deity.
Mhm.
Are you suggesting? Am I narrowing it that those options down too far, or